Okay, so we're diving into this story out of Chicago about this apartment building where a pipe burst and like hundreds of senior residents were displaced
Oh, wow.
in the middle of January.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine
Oh,
Chicago in January?
brutal.
It's bad enough as it is, but we see these headlines all the time, right?
Yeah.
But it's easy to forget that this isn't, just a news blip. This is people's lives completely upended.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of what we want to dig into today.
Yeah.
What happens when that sense of safety and stability is just ripped away?
Yeah.
Especially for older folks who are, already dealing with
Right.
the challenges that come with aging.
Exactly. And it's heartbreaking, to think about the impact this has on their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, just from a practical standpoint, think about the disruption to their daily routines. Things like managing medications, making sure they get to doctor's appointments, even just basic things like getting groceries.
Yeah.
All of that gets thrown into chaos. And then you add on top of that the potential loss of social connections,
Right.
For a lot of older adults, those connections are a lifeline.
Absolutely, yeah.
And being displaced from their community can be incredibly isolating. And then you have the emotional toll,
Yeah.
losing your home even temporarily.
Yeah.
It's traumatic.
Absolutely. And reading this article, it was clear that this wasn't just, a minor inconvenience for these folks. We were talking about, sleeping on cots in these makeshift shelters, feeling like they were living in some sort of, disaster zone.
Yeah.
One resident was quoted saying that she hadn't had a proper hot meal in days.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it just paints this really stark picture.
Yeah. And, it makes you wonder about the systems we have in place
Yes.
to support seniors in these situations.
Mhm.
Like, were there any specific plans or resources geared towards helping these older residents during this crisis?
Yeah.
I mean, could something as simple as, having a registry of seniors who live alone and then doing proactive outreach during emergencies,
Right.
could that have made a difference?
Yeah, it's like, are we really prepared as a society
Yeah.
to handle the needs of our aging population when these things happen?
And it's not just about immediate needs either,
Right.
putting a roof over their heads, providing food and water.
Yeah.
It's about the long-term consequences of displacement.
Exactly.
Like, we know organizations like the Red Cross do amazing work.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
there on the ground providing that immediate assistance.
Yeah.
But what happens next?
Right.
What about the residents whose homes are severely damaged and
Yeah.
they can't go back?
Yeah.
Finding new affordable housing, especially in a city like Chicago, that's a monumental challenge.
Oh, absolutely.
And then there's the emotional impact, the
Yeah.
trauma of this experience that could linger for years.
It makes you think about, what were some more kind of permanent systemic changes that we could put in place
Yeah,
to prevent this level of disruption in the future.
absolutely.
I mean, we know that Chicago has been struggling with affordable housing issues for a long time.
Right.
Are there any sort of innovative approaches out there?
Well, there are some
Like what?
things like co-housing models that are specifically designed for seniors,
Yeah.
where residents share common spaces and resources that can provide a lot of built-in social support and potentially even lower costs.
Okay. Interesting.
And then you could also look at policies
Yeah.
that incentivize developers to include affordable senior housing
Right.
in new construction projects.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And of course, disaster preparedness plans
Yeah.
need to explicitly address the needs of older adults.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they need to be front and center when
Right.
we're thinking about these things. So we've talked about the immediate impact on the residents, the potential long-term consequences, and even touched on some policy ideas.
Yeah.
But I guess the question that keeps coming back to me is what can we do as individuals in our communities
Yeah.
to make a difference?
That's such an important question. And the good news is that even small acts can have a ripple effect.
Okay.
Simple things like checking in on elderly neighbors,
Yeah.
volunteering at a senior center, or advocating for senior-friendly policies.
Right.
These are all tangible ways that we can contribute.
Yeah.
And I think awareness is huge, too.
Yeah.
The more we understand the unique challenges that seniors face,
Yeah.
the better equipped we are to support them.
This whole deep dive has really been eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder that We need to do better for our aging population, both in terms of preparing for these kinds of events
Right.
and providing long-term support. So as we wrap up here, I want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
What is one small step you can take today
Yeah.
to make a difference in the life of a senior in your community? It could be a simple gesture, a phone call, a visit,
Yeah.
a little bit of help with groceries.
Right.
But it could mean the world to someone.
Absolutely, it could.
So think about that, and let's all try to do our part.
Yeah. I love that.
All right, that's our deep dive for today.
Great stuff.
We'll be back next week with another one.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.